We have a lot of collective bad dreams. They all seem to center around some kind of a creature from outside. This creature's been around for a long time, and it's worked through a chain of victims. It marks them, takes their shape, commits murder, leaves them to take the rap, and moves on.
The story has such a universal myth at its centerpiece. We had an ace in the hole in terms of who our bad guy was representing.
This thing is as old as man. Every culture had some insatiable monster, their equivalent of a child snatcher. In Russia, you might call it a Baba Yaga. In the Scandinavian countries, they call this the dark uncle. There's a universal dread of what comes in the night.
Tell him to get out of my room. Tell him to get out.
I didn't know about El Cuco when I started The Outsider. All I knew was that I had a creature who lived on fear and pain. He was a vampire who, instead of drinking blood, was drinking bad feelings from human beings. I started to investigate Mexican mythology. El Cuco is a very thin man who has a black bag, and he steals children and he puts them in his black bag and boils them alive, okay, and rubs their fat on his body, and the fat keeps him young.
This paranormal being has existed through time in different cultures, under different names, under different guises. There is something that connects us all, even though we think that our faiths are completely different.
My Baba Yaga is your Cuco.
El Cuco, Jumbi, met an old Russian woman once who called hers Baba Yaga.
The Boogeyman.
If you like. All the old cultures had the bad habit of turning truth into fairy tales. When we tell our children about El Cuco, we say, if you misbehave, it'll take you away and eat you. What we should tell them is, it doesn't matter either way. It takes what it wants.
He's a grief eater. He needs to survive off of other people's pain. And I think that's what motivates him.
The concentric ring of family brings grief to so many.
Your family with Maria Canales. I'm the grandfather of the little boy she killed.
The trail of destruction after a death of a child is so great and lingers throughout a whole community.
When's the father going to commit suicide? When's the mother going to drink poison?
It doesn't just destroy Frankie Peterson. One of the concepts that becomes very fascinating is that it destroys the entire Peterson family.
He gets off on sadness, destroyed lives.
He needs to fill his soul with grief. That's how he survives. We see people who actually kill themselves over the loss of a child, but we also see people like Ben's character who psychologically have terrorized themselves. And I think that's probably what he likes the best, somebody who lingers and just can't get over it and suffers and suffers and suffers and suffers.
What if he killed the boy?
No, he didn't kill Frankie Peterson.
Well, then who the f did, Ralph?
Cuco is not human. He can become male or female. I love the idea of Cuco being a woman and a guy making love to who he thinks is the woman at the bar. And in fact, you know, it's Mushface.
He's able to transform himself into other people's DNA, basically, and allow them to perpetrate the crimes.
He could be black, he could be white, he could be Hispanic, he could be anything he wants. In fact, how do you know I'm not Cuco?
At one point, somebody says, do we even know if it can be killed in conventional terms? Because if you are going to walk into this world of the supernatural, how do we know the supernatural thing can be killed with a bullet? It could be impervious to everything.
Torturing, killing children, laying waste to families. only to pop up and do it all over again in some other city or country 20-odd days later, because that's not like any criminal that I've ever heard of.
It's not a criminal. It's not even human.
I knew you were going to say that.